Today I'll be doing part 2 of What If Deku Was a Speedster. Without further ado, let's pick off right where we left off. And if you haven't seen the first video, I advise you to go check it out to understand the storyline. We get back to when Deku was cornered in an alleyway by Bakugo and accidentally caused him Kachan. Bakugo snaps at this, but Deku, he remains calm. And when Bakugo lunges at him to hit him with an explosion, Deku's eyes simply turn a scarlet red. A scarlet red that is so menacing it would strike fear into the heart of even fully grown heroes. Deku simply blitzes behind Bakugo and says, "It's over. We're over. I thought we could get back together. I thought we could be friends like before. But I was wrong. I was far too naive." Then Deku just disappears from their sights, having used this quirk to simply run somewhere else. And during this, now we're gonna have a 6-year time skip. During this time skip, Deku is gonna train his quirk to its absolute limits, but he notices something strange. The first time he unlocked his quirk, he approached nearly the speed of light, and right now even with all this training, he struggles to even approach the speed of sound. He just shrugs it off and just thinks, must have been a burst of power from my late quirk awakening. Now, in Deku's high school, in Deku's school, it was just a usual day for Deku. And although Bakugo has been unable to hurt Deku in any way during the 6 years, he's still been bullying him in any way he can. And today, just like clockwork, as always, Bakugo approaches Deku with a wide mocking grin on his face. "Hey Deku, what's this I hear about you taking the entrance exam for UA? You're even more pathetic than I thought if you think you have a chance at that. I don't know what your mom puts in your breakfast, but you're seriously delusional," one of Bakugo's goons states with a wide grin on their face. Bakugo looks to Izuku's desk and sees a book that reads Hero Analysis and immediately snatches it. And this is when Deku snaps and yells at Bakugo to give it back. But Bakugo throws it towards the open window. But Deku's eyes simply turn a scarlet red, a small amount of electricity appearing around him, and he appears next to the book and simply grabs it before it could go out the window. And he looks at Bakugo with a furious glare and says, "Bakugo, I've been letting you off, but this is a little far, don't you think?" Bakugo says, "What you gonna do about a midget? You only know to run away." And he tries to lunge at Deku again with another explosion, hoping to injure him just like years ago. But Deku, he simply blitzes behind Bakugo and hits him with a supersonic punch right in the ribs, and he fractures 30 of Bakugo's ribs, and then looks at his goons and is like to them with a smirk, "Do you want some of this?" The goons immediately run. Deku simply gets his bag and walks away. He looks at the time and realizes he's nearly late. So he decides to take a shortcut and not use his quirk to get back home, since he doesn't want to rely on it for everything. So what Deku does, he goes on his shortcut, but suddenly the sludge villain appears from a bush and looks at Deku and says, "Kid, you appeared right at the right time. That maniac is after me." He lunges at Deku, trying to engulf him, but Deku simply blitzes behind the sludge villain and hits him with a supersonic punch, one far stronger than the one he hit Bakugo with. The sludge villain is splattered all over, not dead, not seriously injured, but just in a state where he can't do anything. And All Might appears and like, "Kid, did you do this?" Deku simply responds, "Yeah, I did. He tried to attack me. Is that a problem?" All Might responds, "No, not at all. He in fact helped me." He simply gathers the what's on the spirit of the sludge villain into a bottle and says, "I hope you make it to UA, kid. You seem like you have a lot of potential." Deku realizes he's a bit late, so he tries to use his quirk to get back home, but realizes he's used too much in that supersonic punch. His body is not quite used to straining itself that much. Even though he's been training his hardest, moving at those types of speeds still take a strain on his body. So what Deku does, he just uses his quirk at the bare minimum to travel at like solid Mach 1. Travels at Mach 1. But as he's heading home, he sees the sludge villain, the same one he just took down, but it seems to have escaped. And All Might is standing there, but he notices the sludge villain has engulfed Bakugo. And All Might doesn't want to hurt him, so he doesn't know what to do. So what Deku does, he uses his remaining amount of strength and stamina to blitz beside the sludge villain. Before the sludge villain can react, he grabs Bakugo and puts him to the side. When All Might sees this, he punches the sludge villain with a Texas smash. The sludge villain finally being immobilized. He gathers him, and All Might thanks Izuku. Or should I say Deku? Yeah, we're just gonna call him Deku from now on, to not cause confusion. So, All Might says, "Kid, if you make it to UA, contact me. I want to talk to you about an offer I have." Izuku simply nods and looks at Bakugo, asking if he's alright. Bakugo glares back at him with a furious look in his eye that's not reminiscent of someone who just got saved. And he says, "I didn't need your help, worm." Izuku simply sighs, like he's just like, your pride is gonna be the downfall of you, Bakugo." Once he does this, Izuku uses his remaining speed to blitz all the way home, but now he's exhausted from overusing his quirk. He enters his home, and his mother's right there, welcoming him home and offering him dinner. Izuku simply smiles and tells her about his day. She just responds in surprise, and she's like, "I knew you were strong, but I didn't know you were that strong. I'm proud of you, my son. Even if you didn't have a quirk, I'd still be proud of you."